Mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's Georgette Pierre, and it's Black and Nuanced Podcast, dispelling the ideas that all Black people are monoliths because we're not. My guests and I bring our varying perspectives of pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuanced, powered by Excitement Radio. I got a new guest co-host with me. I keep putting Twan 360, but he goes by Twan the Don. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
How you doing? What it do, Georgia? How are you?
I am phenomenal. I love when you do that because you do it so well.
Listen, I'll be in my element when I do it. I had to get all the way into Wendy. How you doing? But nonetheless, thank you for having me. I'm Twan the Don, all that good.
Yes, tell him who you are, what you do, why you're fabulous.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I am Twan, go by Twan the Don and all that good stuff. And I have this wonderful show called Twan 360.
Whoop, whoop.
Every Monday night, I sit behind the desk and I give it to you good. Pause.
I just don't pause.
Okay, no pauses. But I literally talk about what's going on within the industry, give my take on it, and not for nothing, people really get uptight based off of your opinion. I'm like, come on, guys, it's just my little opinion, but
listen, but people be trying to rule people.
Yes,
it's a real thing.
I'm like, come on, y'all, but that's what I do. I've been doing it now for a little over a year.
Nice.
I'm excited about it, and people are loving it, so I'm loving people because they love it.
Yeah, no, I was like, knowing that I needed to do video a while ago, living in New York, and I come down here and Twan's like, I do a show every Monday. And I'm like, I'm as consistent with my podcast, maybe a little less consistent, as Twan is with Twan 360. And I'm like, Twan, I need to figure this shit out.
I love it. That's the only thing. And there's a lot of things that we have to do that we don't necessarily like to do.
Right.
And because I have so much of what I don't like to do, I have that one thing that I love so much.
Yeah.
I like to do it. I give my all to it. So
yeah. I was just talking to someone earlier today, one of our colleagues, and I was like, man, like I love podcasting. Commercial radio seems very constraining to me.
Yes.
And so when I come down to the podcast, I'm like, this is me. This is my ship. I produce it. Sound design. You can't tell me anything. And it's...
And that's the world.
that's
the world I'm living in, goddamn.
Okay. So listen, I want to jump into some of these topics. Oh, gosh. So the theme of this podcast or this episode was white privilege, but then male privilege because you are a male and you do benefit from some form of privilege.
You think so?
That's why I want to get into it. That's why I want to get to it. Before we get into that, though, at least have to address the whole Facebook banning Louis Farrakhan and white supremacists, but they can't protect our privacy with all these notable security breaches. What are your thoughts about that? And then, 45 is going in and he's defending them because he needs to use as his platform.
Exactly
it's just like, really?
Out of all people that you can ban and shut down, 45 is going hard. And he's got something to say about it.
Yeah.
So even more so. I mean, and they're talking about because he's quote unquote dangerous and hate speech.
Hate speech, yep.
But this guy spreads the truth, in my opinion, and spreads a little
Farrakhan?
light. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But not to single him out. I know there's some others that were also banned as well.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because every time I turn around, and Facebook that's my number one platform. That's where I do Twan 360 and all that. The stuff that I see on Facebook, I'm like, so y'all don't ban this, but you just ban a guy for free speech? I thought we were all entitled to, our First Amendment, but I guess not. But hey.
The issue becomes when there's vitriol and...
Here you go with those big words. See what I'm saying? Listen, I always tell Georgette, I need help with these big words when I'm going in life. What does that mean, Georgette?
Vitriol. Okay, so let's look it up. Vitriol, cruel and bitter criticism. So vitriol I actually need a stronger word than vitriol, to be honest with you. But the issue is when the vitriol is spewed from the right-wing personalities like Milo Yiannopoulos, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Paul Joseph Watson, Laura Loomer, Paul Nellon. These are some of the people that they included as far as right-wing personalities, and then you have Farrakhan. When there starts to be reactions or actions being taken on other people, innocent people, and then it becomes a problem.
Right.
And so I feel like Twitter needs to ban some people.
Starting at 45.
Right. They banned Milo. And so they don't have to ban the president's official Twitter handle, right? But 45's like his actual personal.
Maybe he needs, after he sends his tweet, it should go to another section and say, are you sure you want to tweet this? Then he says yeah. Then he presses he says yeah. And then another screen comes up and say, hey, are you sure that you want to tweet this? Because I just don't get him.
No, I'm over him. I'm definitely over him. I mean, I don't necessarily, I think there's a lot of hypocrisy, at least when it comes down to Facebook. I think the issue is Facebook is not addressing, they're addressing it, but not as much as the action they could have taken several years ago. Like, this has been going on for some time.
Very much so.
And the criticism is really coming from 2016 there was a lot of fake news, right? And so 45 has coined fake news, but legitimately there was a lot of influence that
came from Facebook.
Or false influence that came because these stories were on Facebook. I guess the bigger question is, what are your thoughts about them doing this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you only agree because you agree with the people that you dislike, but mad about the people that you do like? I mean...
Well, see, I literally like to be fair. So I think if they're going to do it to one person that's spewing this, quote unquote, they should do it to everybody else that I believe. Well, see, I don't want to make it about me, but it is about me.
Well, because it's me. It's your opinion.
And I'm a user on Facebook.
Yep.
I don't think it's right. It goes back to that First Amendment. We have freedom of speech, and you can't take that away from us because, believe it or not, Facebook it's a part of your voice now. Social media is a part of it has given all of us a voice, if that makes any sense. So I don't know, G. I don't like it, and I feel like they've singled certain people out, and I think if they do it to one person that is on top of that and can reach the masses, they should do it to everybody else.
What about the bigger? And then the issue is, like, some critics are praising it, but they feel like there's more work to be done with Facebook and Instagram now that Instagram is a Facebook entity or owned by Facebook, shall I say? But there's lesser known figures that are not getting popped.
Right, that's what I'm
saying. So how do you even what's the filter?
There is no filter. What
to find
to be honest,
people.
There is a filter because sometimes when you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram, they have these little the little parental advisory, like not copyright, but it's like this video is deemed violent or whatever. Are you sure you want to uncover the video? So if that's the case, don't block these people, don't ban them from the network or from the platform itself. The things that they put up, just ask people, are they sure they want to view this content?
I think that makes sense. I mean, again, there's still a lot of work to be done, but I need them to get our security breach shit in check.
That's what I understand. I can go on Facebook and for some kind of reason I can go through my phone and 2 days later, hey, your credit card information is on Facebook. Why? How does that happen? Oh, it pulled all your information from your Apple Pay. It's just those little weird, scary things that are happening.
Oh, that happened to you?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, I was going to. Oh, right.
These man.
I mean, but to be honest, I think people have to be mindful of these bigger platforms, right? Facebook never was a place where I was like, I'm going to spend money, send money. You are not fucking PayPal. So I'm not using I'm not going to use Facebook as PayPal. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so getting into the real tea of the matter. We live in South Florida currently.
Sometimes.
Right. In my mind, I live somewhere.
I'm always on an island. I take myself to the highest of the high. You hear me, Georgette? I'm just saying.
The highest of the high. I actually thought this happened in Florida, but it didn't. That actually happened in New York, my beloved Nueva York. And so there was a school bus driver who raped a 14-year-old, and he will not be going to jail.
I saw that. And that... Can I curse?
Oh, you didn't hear me? You didn't hear me cussing earlier?
I thought I did, but that is by far the most sickening shit I've ever seen.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes. Let me give a little background on this story. So his name is Shane Piche.
And he ought to be Shane.
Right.
He ought to be.
And 26 years old, pleaded guilty to third-degree rape earlier this year.
Guilty?
Yes.
Pleaded guilty?
Yes. And his skin color, there's no need to.
No need to say white, black, or other. We already know that. I'm just going to call it for what it is.
Yes.
It's white.
He's white. And he was sentenced to 10 years of probation.
And it ain't right.
He was also assigned the lowest level status on New York's sex offender registry. According to an official, the level 1 status is reserved for offenders with a low risk of committing another similar crime and means that his future addresses will not be made public. What I don't understand is what made them determine that he was level 1. 26 raped a 14-year-old.
Right. But when you're white,
so what's considered a black man would have been under the jail.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. So But, and it was in an interesting conversation. Again, it goes back to we need to vote, right? Because people think you only vote for the president.
Nope.
You got to vote for these judges,
yes.
the people that are making these decisions, because...
We need some of us in there, because...
If that was your daughter, you would have a problem with it. If that was your sister, you would have a problem with it.
But he pleaded guilty. That's the only thing that I can't get out of my mind.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think of somebody, and not even to twist the scenario, but R. Kelly. He's still saying, I'm innocent. He is. And
this guy.
well, I know he's not. You get what I'm saying? But he's still screaming, I'm innocent. And he's been to jail.
Yep.
He's currently out on bond.
Yep.
And he's going to go to jail.
He's been in and out, but child support was like another reason why he went back.
Right, but what I'm saying is, believe it or not, R. Kelly is going to go to jail.
I think
whether he's innocent for one of these cases or he's guilty of all of them, he's going to go to jail. And then you have this white guy who clearly said, yes, I did it, and what are you going to do about it? Because when you plead guilty, that's what you're doing, right? You're basically saying, yes, I did it, I got caught doing it, now what? What are my... What
right, but I mean, there's people that have pleaded guilty for lesser sentences, or that's what they've been advised. Yeah, I don't...
guilty, though. I'm just... That's sick, man.
I agree. I don't know what else to say to that.
Well, I really hope that he violates his probation.
The issue is, if he does it again, the judge, you made him a level 1 status.
That judge really has to feel stupid, and I pray that, well, that's not really nice, but I hope that they're losing a little bit of sleep over this decision, because it's really stupid. It's stupid when you think about it.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And so
you send somebody that's capable of doing this again back out into the world, and if you offend someone once, you're gonna do it again.
Right, because there was something like where he doesn't have, like, he can't be unsupervised for people under the age of 18, blah blah blah, and it was like she was 14. And this is not a bashing of black versus white. It's understanding, speaking from a person of color's perspective of white privilege. Let me give you another story. That teeters all the way in white privilege. So after a son, I know. Well, because we're going to get into it after we talk about these stories. So after this guy's son was expelled, this lobbyist tries to change Missouri's Title IX law. And so let me just give people the backdrop about that. So lobbyist whose son was expelled from college under a federal sex discrimination law, which is Title IX, successfully enlisted a Missouri state lawmaker to introduce a bill that would overhaul how such complaints are handled. Basically, one opponent calling it revenge legislation. And so I remember seeing this. Let me just give a little bit more backdrop. So Republican Rep. Dean Dorman said lobbyist Richard McIntosh asked him to sponsor the proposal, which would change how Missouri colleges handle alleged violations of Title IX, the federal law that bans sex-based discrimination in education. The other gag about this is, so the mother of the guy that got expelled sits on the board where the decision could also be made. I want to find that information. So it was murky all around. Yes. So there's a personal interest in changing this law, not for other people, right?
Now it's knocking on your door. It's like, oh my God. And I have the key to open it. Of course I'm going to try to fix this.
Right. And so it says, where is it? I saw the shit where they said the wife sits on. Okay. So here it is. So it's in the New York Times article, and I'll post it in the show notes. So it basically said, pending Missouri bills pushed by McIntosh would allow accused students to hire attorneys and cross-examine witnesses, including their accusers. Cases could be appealed to a panel known as the Administrative Hearing Commission, which currently includes McIntosh's wife and the mother of the son that got expelled from the school. Yet again, the incentive is a personal reason. So you want to change a whole ass law, right?
So it can help your child.
Not for nothing. Nothing, no other reason.
No other reason but that.
What are your thoughts about that?
No need to say white, black, or other in this situation either. We already know what it is.
Right.
Again, stuff like this really upsets me because it doesn't matter until things doesn't matter until it comes knocking at your front door. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's millions of other parents that have gone through this, and it goes like, if you look at the whole college scandal, you know what I'm saying? Laura Loughlin and what's the other?
Her husband and Felicity.
Yes,
Huffman, I think.
Yes. And you look at those people, and it's just like, the stuff that you're doing, you don't have to do because your kids don't want to do it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm looking at Lori, not to even switch the subject, but her daughter never wanted to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're about to go to prison because you forced your child to go to college that did not want to go to college. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And in this case, it's just sickening, Georgia. It really is when I think about it. And privilege. And they get mad when we take one step, and y'all take 20 for no reason.
Oh, I mean, it's almost like it's not even taking. It's as if they're taking this stuff. They're stealing steps, right?
Literally.
And right in front of the store owner, right? Like you're just going into the store and you're just like,
getting what you want. Pipianos.
Yeah.
To just be stealing stuff.
It said that the St. Louis County NAACP President John Gaskin III previously said that black men are disproportionately affected by the denial of due process. So he's in support of it, but what he's not in support of is them trying to make it a black movement, because it isn't. What they're trying to do is the McIntosh family, they're white. So don't try to pull it in as if this is a black movement. Yes, black men aren't offered due process when it comes to certain things, but the reason why this man is moving mountains is for his white son.
Right.
So, yeah, because there's other people that said that the bills were introduced for the sole purpose of a young white kid who was accused of a crime. Yeah.
When will they learn? And the system is not really set up for us anyways. It's not. It was set in place for us to fail, and when they get caught up in the web, they try to fix it. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes they fall right into the trap that they set for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I always tell people, it's like, see the trap but don't trip. They don't set these traps, and oftentimes they gotta fall into the trap themselves.
That might be the episode title. See the trap but don't trip.
Yeah, see the trap but don't trip. See it. And I love it when people set a grave for me and then they end up being the one that's sleeping in that grave. You know what I'm saying? So because this happened to them, they use that white privilege as a ladder to climb right out of the hole that they opened up.
Right, but the gag would be, and what's unfortunate is we're not necessarily in those positions to control what it looks like, and so this could easily pass. They don't think it's going to pass anytime soon or get even looked at.
I hope it don't.
But the fact that there has to be some type of what is the word that I'm looking for? Because the mother sits on the committee, she should be recused from that.
From this, right?
Altogether.
No say so, none of it, no input, no influence, no.
And because they're doing this, maybe this will be, you hope it would be a red flag that if this is, what is the word that I'm looking for? Where it's you're not gonna be able to make the best decision because of a bias.
Right.
Right. It's your son.
It's your son, because so now everything that you're saying is
you're not gonna want your son to go to jail.
Exactly. And they're not throwing up any red flags, and if they do, we know what it says: Make America Great Again.
You're a mess. So speaking of white privilege, I want to talk about male privilege though. And you are a black man.
I am, and it's a struggle because I'm not just the typical black male.
Right.
I'm a gay black male, so that adds a little.
So you have black behind you on top of gay.
Right. So
but
just imagine what all of that means.
Right. And well, let's I want to deconstruct it a little bit. So I wanted to tie in male privilege because as a black woman, we're already considered a double minority. Even with small things, sometimes women aren't taken as seriously. They're not like the assumption. Women aren't taken as seriously as men.
Yes.
Women don't get paid the same pay scale as men. We're doing the same job. There has been this patriarchal mindset that, for whatever reason, taking orders from a woman, working under a woman, having a woman as a boss, a woman offering her insight, we get all these titles attached to us.
Yes.
But as a man...
Now, not to cut you off, and
continue.
To be fair, there are some women that display those qualities, and I don't think that it's fair for...
Display what qualities?
The qualities of, they take the term boss bitch too literal.
Right.
And they become that bitch. They become a bitch that's a boss.
But that is the equivalent of an aggressive man going after what he wants, right?
In a sense. But just from experience, like I've worked with a lot of men. I've had more men bosses than I've had female boss. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just...
You prefer one or the... it seems like you're erring on the side of preferring a man as your boss, yes or no?
Based off my experience.
What was your experience?
The men that I worked for were incredible and treated me as such, and they knew what it was.
But do you also look at it as like they were black, you're also a black man?
Yeah. So now that
you're looking at it from a different lens, right? Okay.
But I've like even my current boss, he's not black. I guess he can fall under the category of minority.
Yes, because I forgot. Yeah, it changes.
But it's cool working with him.
It's a lot more easy breed. I get it.
Some people make you feel like you work for them, but that's not why I'm here today. That's not why I'm here today. But back to your original question, and the question was.
But your experiences with male privilege and recognizing that you still benefit from identifying as a cisgender man, as a gay black man,
right? But
you still are a man.
Man, right? So, but it's kind of tough because people know that. So it's like, you want me to do the work of a man, but you want to pay me like a woman, and you've
dealt with that.
Of course I have.
Really? But what do you mean pay like a woman?
Well, I hope that's not offensive.
It sounded kind of funky.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's why
I'm very ignorant to that. But
No.
what I'm saying is, no, I'm just being completely real. I say that because I've had the whole conversations about, well, you don't have kids, so it's like, okay, but I need more money. You know what I'm saying? I need more money.
So they're trying to justify, like,
right.
Why is this man asking, or just why is this employee asking for more money?
He doesn't have kids.
So you could basically say your male privilege did not. You being a man didn't benefit you in that circumstance, in that particular circumstance
at all.
But there are a lot of circumstances where you benefit from just being a man.
Yeah, but it's tough for me, and I don't know why. Because most people, although I identify as a male, like,
do you think they attach effeminate qualities to you?
They put the sugar in. They put the sugar in the tank. They put the sugar that they think I have in my tank.
Interesting. Yep, I understand.
So
yep.
Like, I'm just a man. I'm just a man that just happened to love and like men. So all of that other stuff, I'm not on that. But people just assume, so they come bringing the extra sugar, or they come bringing the sugar and pouring it in my tank. I'm like, hey, I'm still a man. Like, I can still lift those boxes. So it's like, yeah, they want me to lift the boxes, but hey, I'm gonna pay you for office work, if that makes any sense. So I've dealt with things, and I get it.
So your male privilege may be different because now that they attach gay to that, they're looking at you a little bit differently, and
like he's a man,
treating you differently, man.
Right?
And even the man is.
Hey, boys. I'm sorry, G. I'm sorry.
No, please. You don't have to apologize.
Okay.
I love it. This is what I want,
Thank
right?
you.
Be you.
Exactly.
And so I think, but I don't like the whole idea of the title man, because I even feel like it teeters into this idea of what they feel like masculinity, what men feel like masculinity is supposed to be. I like to use the term toxic masculinity, but people can beg to differ, disagree, agree. I think that's the ignorance of people projecting onto you how they think you are without just because you identify as gay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Who you choose to love and be with.
Hey, Joe.
And we shout names out. Okay, listen. Putting whole ass names out here.
Just saying.
Doesn't change who you are and what you can do in the space that you're in. But again, the patriarchal society has propped a man to be only this.
Right.
Women to be only this.
Exactly.
If you are gay, you are teetering on. They can't see my hands, but I had women to the right, men to the left. So you're teetering more to the right. Right?
Exactly.
Which is kind of fucked up.
It's beyond.
Not kind of. It is fucked up.
Is.
Right.
So it's to answer your question, it's kind of tough for me per se, and but male privilege is real, and I haven't really experienced or benefited from it.
Not even an inkling at all.
No, not like I just. A lot of I'm just a career driven person,
right?
So most of my experiences come from my career, or trying to funnel through it, so to speak. There's a lot of things that I thought that I was capable of doing, and I personally think because my voice isn't deep enough, or because I don't have the muscles that what I'm saying. So it's just no. We'll just leave you here on the computer. Oh no, we'll leave you here folding up the shirt.
So you don't. So you're discriminated against actually because of your.
Right. So I know that male privilege is real, but I personally never benefited from it. So everything that I've gotten and where I am now, I've literally had to work twice as hard to get here.
Wow. I would love to hear the listeners' feedback. Email me at blacknuancedpod@gmail.com. I really want to hear what your experience has been, especially if you're a person of color, male privilege, and some examples of it. That's very interesting. I didn't actually think about that. But that makes perfect sense, right? Again, because they're projecting on, well, he talks like this, he moves like this, he does this, and he's open about his sexuality. Okay,
Exactly.
It's one of those
honestly, I tell people this all the time. People that are really close to me, they know this. There was one point in my life where when people would ask, "Are you gay?" And not that I would be not that I would be defensive. I would always ask what is it to you? You know what I'm saying? So there was a point where I really didn't embrace it, and I felt things were happening. Oh, he can do this, he can do that. But the moment I started to embrace it, people started to pull back.
Right, because it's one of those things, like, if you don't say it, they can assume it.
Right. But now that he's saying it, now that he's embracing it, I felt as though, like, even now, like, I'm free. I'm a free being. I'm a free soul.
As you should be.
But on the same sense, it's like, damn, so he really ain't fucking with me right now because of, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here, I'm flying free as a bird. You should be happy. You should be celebrating that. You get what I'm saying? But you should be embracing that. But in the same sense, it's like, they don't. I don't know.
I
Society.
think, yeah, again, but it's the assumptions and the ignorance of, I think for our own people, to be honest, Twan, it's, and I'm just speaking because I am a person of color, but I don't think this way. We attribute certain things, we attribute certain gender roles to each other, and instead of it being fluid and people just being who they are, it's like, nah, nigga, you get you right. Nah, I can't. it's like, what the fuck? Just how every heterosexual is not attracted to every person they see. Stop. Like, I mean, it's the identification and not one's being, and it's I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit.
Oftentimes you got to tell people like it is not that serious, and all I was doing was saying hi.
But you know what I find this funny, and I know sometimes I sound elitist as far as like geographically speaking. I think South Florida, and I said it, and I openly say this, and people could be offended, but it's my opinion coming from living in New York. I think
like you mean it, girl.
Yeah, I feel like South Florida is a bubble.
Meaning?
I think, and when I was saying it was a bubble, I was saying a bubble from the perspective of, well, actually, I think there's a certain mindset where when you're in Florida, it's like, it's Florida, we ain't going nowhere, it's warm down here, like, everything has to happen in Florida, I got family down here, I'm never leaving Florida, and it's like, well, I want to, so. Yeah, but it's like, but it's also the perspectives I've also seen, just as hospitable people are in Florida, it's a black and white with judgment. Okay, he's gay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not really, right?
Own that,
Or he's not. Oh, okay, I'm effing with him. Right. Okay. And not to say that everyone's like that, but I felt like there is a perspective where it's like, yo, Florida or bust. Fuck everybody else. Like, New York always puts their people on. No one reps Florida. No one talks about Florida. You
haven't been down here that long to even know that that's the real deal.
But the thing is, if you went to, the thing is, and I say it, and not to sound geographically elitist, that's my new thing now. I just made that up. If you go to New York, ain't nobody studying your sexuality, right?
Trust me.
Because there's a whole ass parade that happens every year. You can go to the East Village. You can go here. You can go there. You can live your life and be free. No one's focusing on your sexuality. They're focusing on Twan, his character, what he can do. Here, as you had that epiphany and you were sharing that, it just made me think like people focus on appearances, and it's like, but can Twan get the job done?
Right. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Do you think it's a bubble? I mean, I could be wrong. I think it's a bubble.
Now that you've explained it that way, it's clearly a bubble.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I think I think it could be problematic long term, and
it will be. Because listen, when it comes to me, not that I have a point to prove, but my voice will be heard and justice will be served.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Right. Ote. So moving on to our next segment, all of the things. This is usually something personal that happened in the day, week, be it heavy or lighthearted, or just shit that inspires me. So Twan and I always have our random conversations because we work together at the company that shall remain nameless, but emotional maturity. And I'll have conversations with you, Twan, about your relationship and different things of that nature, and then I think about some of my guy friends and sometimes how I feel like I'm evolved to a certain extent, and then I'm just like, oh, his fucking ego exhausts me. I don't have the time or energy to want to keep going back and forth with somebody, right? But do you struggle with emotional maturity?
So, in a sense.
What do you struggle with?
Because now I'm dealing with someone that's much older than I am.
What's much older? Do you want to share?
Like a 20-year, maybe like a 19, 20-year difference.
Okay.
So it's a little different. Mm-hmm. When you say emotional maturity, what do you mean?
Are you mature when it comes to expressing your emotions? Can you have an adult conversation about just different things, right?
That's what I was thinking.
We turn to being, they do something that you don't like, you're quick to walk away, you're quick to shut them off or cut them off and be petty.
My problem is my phone, because I have a voice and I talk for a living.
Okay.
So, and then I elaborate on other people's business, to be honest.
Okay.
I can elaborate on so much, but when it comes to dealing with my partner,
you're in your head. What's the problem then? I don't understand.
I'll just text you what it is, and it's like, and it's funny that this is.
You'll say that to him?
No. Like I'll send a text instead of having a conversation.
Oh. Yeah, you should stop doing that.
I know. So even last night, and I think this is like our third or fourth time having this conversation. We were both out of town this past weekend, and maybe like an hour or two of us both being back home, I sent a text message and said, "Hey, do you like theme parks?" Just talking about because I wanted to take a trip to Orlando, maybe go to Universal or Disney, or whatever. And we've never talked about theme parks, so I said, "Hey, do do you like theme parks? And he replied and said, why? So I sent back why, and maybe 5 minutes later my phone started ringing, and I'm like, oh, come on, like I'm tired.
You're such a millennial. That's what it is.
And that's what it is. So I answer, and it's like, he says, can I ask you a favor? So I'm like, sure, what's up? Can you call me?
Yes.
Instead of texting me?
Yes. Like, call that ass out.
I get it. And I'm like, he's like, no, you don't get it. I'm like, I get it. So he says, I need you to learn how to pick up the phone or open your mouth to say certain things because it's so key and important in effective communication. So I'm like,
come on, Joe.
You're absolutely correct. I said, Joe, you are absolutely 100% correct. He says, no, I am, but you don't believe it. And I said, yes, I do. He's like, no, this is like our 4th time having this conversation. So I said, okay, babe, trust and believe me. This time I get it.
Not babe.
I said, yes.
And not 4th time. Shit.
I got to get it together. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call you in the morning because I'm like I'll text good morning or he'll text me good morning. So I said, you know what? I'll text good morning. I'll call you in the morning. So I called this morning and we had a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation.
I mean, you know what it is? Give people their flowers while they're here.
That's that too.
And the only reason why I'm turning up on that now, I think the studio just added Nipsey Hussle. I remember noticing it.
Yes, I saw it when I came in.
Nipsey.
Rest in peace, homie.
Yeah, may he rest in peace, power, perfection. You know, I think about Nipsey. I think about John Singleton. And then I even think about it gets a little bit closer. You know, my mom called me a couple of days ago. Well, by the time they hear this, it would have been, a few days ago. But a family friend was murdered, her and her husband, in Tobago.
I saw that.
Did you see?
It was like missing for a while.
No.
No, this is something else.
This was a double murder. Okay. From the story I read, they were strangled or something like that, gagged up. And, it's strange. And
I think this couple that I'm talking about were from Maryland or somewhere.
Oh, no, this one's like Tobago, overseas, like in the islands.
And I think they were visiting over there. So these people live there.
They did. Okay, yep. Okay. They lived there. And it was strange. And so when my mom called me crying, my parents didn't show emotions. And so I had to grow into that. There was a lot of emotional immaturity on my end. I didn't know how to say I love you, even to friends.
Yes.
Let alone relationships. And I didn't say, and the people that knew me, they're like, Georgia, I know you don't like using the word I love you. I was like, no, we're past that point. Like, I do love you. Like, I do have a strong love for you if something was to happen to you. And so I say all that to say I'm at a better space where I'm able to be a little bit more expressive. I still feel like I don't speak up at times when I need to. But when something hurts me or something is bothering me or someone did something or I'm over your fucking ego, instead of you talking to me, Twan, it's your ego talking to me. It's like being able to actually communicate that and not be, Now that place, I think I'm there. Okay. But I relationships. In relationships, not so much, but in life. Why?
I don't know. Like when I think of like with my family, we are a I love you type of family. All right, cuz, see you later, love you. All right, Uncle Twan, love you, have a good day. Even with my aunts, like love you, have a great day.
I think I know why though. Go ahead though.
We're just a loving kind of family, and then
you're like a loving.
No, because I was saying that place of like if something's hurting me or somebody's bothering me or I have to deal with an ego. Like I'm not even in that place where I'm pulling you to the side anymore. Like I'm checking it right then and there.
Which is important, and a lot of people don't do that. And I know I had an issue doing that, but something happened. My spiritual spidey senses are telling me something happened in past relationships where you're just not trusting to be open emotionally with Joe. And Joe is calling you out because one, he ain't got time for that shit. He's in his 50s or wherever he is, and he's not with the shits with you
at all.
Right?
It's super straightforward.
You're being checked in a way that you weren't checked before.
Yes, and I'm allowing it because
you weren't allowed. So you're
before I would what.
Oh, so there's some growth there.
Very much so. Very much growth. Very much progress. I'll use that. There's the progression has been there. And I'm willing to learn. Yep. So I've opened up my mind and my heart.
I wonder if it's because of him though. Why weren't you willing to learn before with the other people? Were they your age, younger?
They were definitely my age. Okay. And I think that because he came with experience and he came with such a conviction, and I'm like, what? Okay, this may work, and it's cool. Like even in our conversations, like he said something that if somebody else would have said, I probably would have stopped the whole conversation and just like spent 5 minutes on that. I forget what we were talking about, but he said, "Well, at the end of the day, I'll just cuss your ass out and keep it going, and I'll just let it go." And I'm like, now if that was somebody else, I would have been like, "Wait, hold up." Curse who out for what?
But see, now your ego is boop boop boop. Right. It's already now it's Twan the ego, not Twan the Don.
Exactly. So now I'm like,
maybe that is your alter ego. Now.
I said you in my mind. I'm like, yeah, you. What were we talking about? I forgot what we're talking about, but I'm like, in my mind, I said, you know what? If he did curse me out, I would have warranted that. I would have deserved it. But
right, but anybody else, you felt like you could talk to any which way.
Don't
but
do
that's
it.
yeah. But see, don't do it. There's one of my guy friends I'm struggling with, and maybe I'm in a different space now, Twan. Because being down in South Florida from New York, it's been a challenging and evolving process for me in all aspects, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, because I'm not working out as much, but the mind is powerful,
yes.
Okay? My ab Rihanna's my Rihanna abs. But I'm now noticing more and more that there's a lot, there's some anger issues or some type of issues built up inside, and I actually was able to call it out. And he was like, I truly apologize, and I feel bad, and
run.
And then it was like, you're so funny, but we're not dating.
Okay,
but he just adds to the pile of like the reason why I wouldn't. And I've said the same. I was just like, you just don't know how to talk to people at times when you're passionate about something.
You dealt with that.
All of a sudden, you're right, and you're the only person that's right, and then you're cutting everybody off. And then you're yelling at me or going off on me when I'm still talking to you in a calm manner.
Come on, are you dealing with my ex?
Yeah, I had that was a real thing, and it's a lot. It's made me want to fall back a little bit, but every now and then
it's distasteful, and it takes the taste of love out of your mouth.
And I've been that person before too.
Really?
I have definitely. Asshole Georgette lurks when she wants to.
I don't get that.
Right, I've come a long way.
Good for you.
Yes, right.
But good for you.
Yeah, I've yelled at this guy and he took it, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
But what does that say about that type of men? Those type of men, because they're real, they're out there, and it's like, which
ones? The one that I was just describing. Yeah, oh, okay.
Like, first of all, you know it all. So why are we even having this conversation?
Well, that's what I feel like. And I have another guy friend that's married, going through a divorce, and I'm like the same way, and we're both the same sign. I'm just like, don't fucking ask me a question if you already feel like you have the answer. Yes. And I'm not saying it like that's one aspect, but it boils me, and I'm just like, I don't like when people do that, because I'm offering you a suggestion from my perspective. If you don't think that it gels with you, cool. But I am the type of person like, I don't want you to ask me again then. Right. I don't want you to ask me anything else. Is that?
But I'm the type of friend or the type of person be like that. But okay, you know it all. Why are you going through a divorce? Oh, okay. Oh, you're going through it all. So okay, cool.
Right.
All right. Cool.
Right.
Okay, keep it cute then.
We all have those people. Right. I mean, I know we're not perfect, but I'm just saying, I know where my level of tolerance is now in my 30s.
But I can't deal with those kind of people, and I'm trying to understand. Why are they like that? Maybe do a show on that, and I'll listen and try to learn something. Because I really want to know.
No, I think
because you're yelling, that doesn't make you any more right than you are right now.
No, I think it's a lot of those. The issue with that, and that is a topic to explore.
They must be the issue.
No, it's internal. It's internal. Something happened. Something that they didn't fully flesh out, resolve. Haven't talked about in therapy. Don't want to go to therapy. Everything starts from somewhere. There is a starting point, and people are either conscious of that starting point or unconscious of that starting point, and not willing to address it. I don't necessarily always think it's their mothers, but it could be fathers.
Them too.
If we're talking about black men or male in general, but I'm talking about black, some black men. Some. You ain't coming for me. I said some.
The record show, Georgette said some.
I said some black men. So anywho, Twan, how can they find you?
You guys can find me all over social media at Twan the Don, or you can follow the show at Twan_360.
Spell Twan.
TOINE. It's spelled that way because I'm a twin, so it's Antoine and Antoinette. Oh. So typically my name probably would have been spelled ANTWON or W.
Oh, interesting. But I like the way it's spelled.
So yeah, it makes me different. So Twan, TOINE, the Don, THEDON, or stay connected at Twan360.com.
I love that.
Thank you.
You can find me on Twitter at Georgette, first name basis. Website, GeorgettePierre.com. You can find the podcast on Twitter and IG at Black Nuance Pod. That's Black, NUANCED Pod. And find me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and now iHeartRadio.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Georgette.
Absolutely. Email me, Black Nuance Pod, for your questions, comments, feedback. And Twan, I appreciate you for joining me.
Thank you. This is a fabulous opportunity.
Peace.
Oh, I'm so happy for my girl Wendy, by the way.